everyone, this is Maddie Regis, campaign team lead here at Automox, and I am bringing you another episode of IT Insiders, which is Automox's podcast that introduces you to the people behind the product. And we've actually got a returning guest today who you may remember. He's on because we are going to announce that he's actually hosting his own podcast very soon on the network. So he's Charles Coaxum, our SVP of Customer Experience. Thanks so much for joining us, Charles.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for having me back. I'll be honest, after the first time, I remember thinking, okay, was that good enough to get invited again? So it feels like a personal victory. So I'm excited to be here.
I love it. Yeah, you're the second guest that's gotten their own pod along with Jeremy Maldonado. So maybe there's some good luck with my podcast. I don't know.
Jeremy's good. That's going to be a hard act to follow. So
cool. All right. Well, we've had you on the show before, but obviously there's probably new listeners, all that good stuff. So just give me a quick recap of your career and how you ended up in customer experience.
Yeah, sure. I'll definitely give you like the director's cut, not the full movie. I started my career in support, working directly with customers. A lot of experience with contact from customers when things were broken or they're confusing or on fire, sometimes all three. And I learned pretty quickly that while the product definitely matters, the experience around it matters just as much. And so spent a lot of time thinking through how to help customers when something goes sideways. And CX really pulled me in over time because it's the intersection of people, products, and outcomes. And I always say, once you start looking at things through the customer's eyes, it's hard to go back.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm excited. Those definitely lead well into the game that we're going to play, which is a would you rather customer experience. So that actually ties in really well, and I'm excited to chat about those based on your background.
Awesome.
So you are, as I said, hosting a new podcast very soon. I don't think we have an actual name yet. I know that there's been things thrown around like Charlie XCX. I don't think that's going to be the final one.
Oh boy.
But what are you most excited about when it comes to hosting this new podcast?
I'm excited I don't have to come up with a name. I'll leave marketing to that because that's not my skill set. But I'm just excited because I think it creates a space for honest conversations. We spend a lot of time talking about growth and success, but not a lot of time talking about what happens after a deal is signed. So I think it's a chance to pull the curtain back a bit and share some real stories and things that you kind of only learn from being in the mix every day. So hopefully it's real and it's useful and it won't be overly polished either.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I know for me, anytime I get to kind of see behind that CX curtain as someone in marketing who's very much at the front end of the process, it's always super interesting, and I think it gives everyone a new perspective. So I love that. All right, this is a unrelated to podcast or career question, but what do you get up to outside of work? What are your hobbies, interests?
I'm somebody who really needs a pretty hard mental reset outside of work. So I love traveling. I'm pretty obsessive about home projects and technology related to that. I think my home is overly smart home. And I really enjoy planning things. I'm a project manager by profession and by nature. And so I know that sounds suspiciously like work at home, but it's fun for me. And I think the other thing is I consume anything that's mystery related, whether it's books or whether it's shows or just puzzles. Curiosity is kind of my recharge button. So if I'm learning something, I'm trying something, trying to figure something out, I'm happy.
I love that. Would you say you've got some tool sprawl with the smart home? Has it gotten bad yet?
I got every ecosystem in here, and they're trying to tie them all together. It's a bit of a challenge.
Cool. All right. So back to career. What is one fun fact about your career?
Oh, a fun fact. I don't know if this is going to sound fun to everyone, but I think the defining moments in my career have really come from conversations I didn't want to have. Tough, uncomfortable conversations, sometimes where feedback is pretty blunt and emotions are high, has really taught me a lot. Things that you learn from customer interactions that like wins don't teach you. It's the challenges. And once I think you survive a few of those conversations, it shapes how you lead and you really have empathy for what others are trying to achieve and do. And I think you makes you more helpful. I don't know if
Yeah, that
that's
makes
fun,
sense.
but that's a fact.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the hard conversations are fun, but I think that's a great insight. Is that yeah, I would agree. I think that's a great life lesson too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right, final question before we jump into the game. But is there a question that I didn't ask you that you wish that I would have asked you?
Um, Boy, that's a really good one, and I could come up with 1,000 things, but I'm going to keep it on point with the podcast that we've announced that's coming. So I always like to be asked, like, what have I learned from customers? What have they taught me? And I think the biggest thing they've taught me is that um, they've taught me how to listen better, um, how to have more accountability, and how important trust is in everything you do. Just trying to navigate those moments and help customers find solutions. I think it's we're not saving lives at the end of the day, but it gives me purpose, and I find energy from that as a leader.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like whatever you can do to make someone's day 10% better, that's still, that's still something. It's still
Yeah,
great.
exactly. Versus laying on the horn behind somebody in traffic and making it 10% worse, right? So
Yeah, that's true. We all try our best, right? We try not to be that person, but there's some days.
it's
Okay, well, let's get into the game because I've got a couple. I think there are gonna be a couple tough questions here.
okay.
So, like I said, it's a would you rather customer experience edition. So I'll kick it off with the first question. Would you rather handle one massive company wide customer issue that every team is watching and talking about, or manage 100 small customer problems popping up everywhere?
Oh boy. I'm going to answer that a bit with it depends. Like, will the one customer issue help raise all the other boats? And if it does, then I'd take that choice. Um, Otherwise, I'd try to help as many customers as possible.
Okay, I think that's a good answer. You know, rising tide raises all ships. I love that.
That's
And
right.
that I got that idea. I don't know if you've ever heard of the would you rather fight one duck-sized horse or 100 uh or sorry, no, one horse-sized duck and 100 ducks or 100 duck-sized horses. So,
Yeah, and the
kind of
shame
the
about that is I've spent too much time thinking about that particular question.
I think we all have at this point. I think we all have. All right. Next question is would you rather be the leader customers love because you always say, we'll take care of it, or the leader teams love because everything runs so smoothly that no one needs to ask for help?
Probably the latter. I think if you have a team that is running smoothly, you've empowered people and you've ensured that you have people that can solve problems on their own. Um, and so, yeah, probably the latter.
It's almost like somebody gave you, I don't know, some sort of like marketing brief before because you're talking about autonomy. We're autonomous endpoint management, you know?
Yeah, well, you never know.
I love it. All right, this is your last question. Would you rather be the leader who delivers steady, predictable improvements customers can rely on, or the leader who makes bold changes that occasionally miss, but sometimes dramatically improve the customer experience? That
You
one's a
know that
tough one.
that is a really tough question. I would say that at different times in my career, I probably would have always answered the latter and wanting to go big. But I find that people want something that they can feel sure about, especially in these times. We're in some unsure times for lots of different reasons. And I think if you're able to deliver something that's steady and stays the course and provides results, I'd probably take that course.
Yeah, I think that 100% makes sense. Yeah, it's nice to log on and have some predictability for sure in today's world.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
all right, well, Charles, thank you so much. Loved all the insight. Everyone, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the first episode drop of Charles's podcast. And you got to stay tuned to see what it's going to be named because that's still to be determined. But you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And stay tuned for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Maggie. Thanks, everybody.